divine presence in you. In today's Michelleology, I'm Michelle. I'm your motivator and I'm your spiritual evolutionist. Welcome into this space and this place. We are here to open up your consciousness to allow you to have an opportunity in this life to reach your highest version of you. And so, as we begin the show today, I am so grateful that you have joined. I hope that all is well in whatever space and energy that you find yourself in right now. And today, we are going to go to some places and some spaces in our garden. Did you not know this and this was your garden? You have a heart mind and you have a head mind. And so as we begin to move forward today, I'm excited because the more we know, the more we grow. And so the seeds are going to be the thoughts, the tools that offer you a greater version of this life. See, this life was really not designed for us not to enjoy the trip that we're taking, because you did know this is not our home. We're travelers. But this is supposed to be a trip of discovery. This is supposed to be a trip that you know yourself, that you go within and know your powers and know what's available to you to access, to attract, to motivate, to do all of those things. So today I kind of want to cover some things because we find that in this world that we are traveling through, there have been multiple spells placed on us. Now, most of you always think about, when you say spells, you're talking about witches, goblins, and all of that. But we're talking about actually words. The words that have been given to us have been conditioned to us. It is said, and I always say this, 95%, this is a scientific status. 95% of your thinking has been conditioned before the age of 35. So if 95% of your thinking has been spellbound by words, that means you only have 5% of creativity. And so we are a creative being. We've been created by the Creator to be creative. So when someone conditions us, it takes our energy down to a different, lower vibration. And we are not equipped to operate successfully on a lower vibration. So today's topic is dreams versus visions. So what I want to talk to you about, what has been quote unquote labeled as the American dream. Now, if you really dig deep into what a dream is, it's a collection of thoughts, feelings, or visions that you have while you sleep. Now, come on now. Let's look at this. The American dream is to keep you asleep. That's good in the neighborhood. The American dream was designed to keep you asleep, because the moment that you wake up and have an immediate awakening, the dream turns into a vision. And the people begin to perish. The people begin to feel like they're losing. The people begin to be depressed. The people begin to have anxiety because they are sleeping and don't have a vision. And so a vision is something that you can see through your imagination. We always talk about we were made in the image of God, which is image. If you look at images, imagination, it all runs together. So if we're created in the imagination and the image, the reflection of an all-powerful God that is able to do anything, then we cannot sleep on that. And so as long as a person can keep you asleep, they paralyze you. They put you in a position where there's nothing you can do. And so what we would love to offer to you as a tool is to just wake up. Now, when I say wake up, first of all, Let's examine a sleep person. A sleep person does not want to be disturbed. And anytime you disturb a sleeping person, they usually get up grumpy and they tell you they want to go back to sleep, or they put on the snooze control. I don't know about you, but I use my physical snooze control like nobody's business. But when we're talking about spiritual things, and they want you to stay asleep, because if you're asleep, you're not going to wake up to your greatness. You're not going to begin to operate in your purpose. You're going to be controllable. You're going to be manipulated. That means, man, I pull at every time you've got to express, and you've got to listen to what these words are spelling us into, causing us to be asleep. And so when you're dealing with a sleep person, they are not conscious. They're semi-conscious or they're unconscious, depending on how hard they sleep. But there are some things that you can do while a person is asleep that you can't do when the person is awake. See, this is good in the neighborhood. Y'all have got to get this. So what we must do, and what we do through the meditation is a tool to wake you up, to clear your mind, to offer you some imagination power. It gives you the intention. Now, when we talk about intention, when you're asleep, your only intention is to sleep. But when you're awake, an intention is the energy that you were created with, that dwells inside of you. It is the kingdom purpose energy that's inside of you. It is not just a thought. Most people say if you place your intentions on something, they're saying placing your thought on it. But this is an energy. This is a high voltage energy that once you operated in it, it is your creative force. It allows you to manifest from the inside out. And one thing we must be very conscious of is that everything that's manifested from the inside out is eternal and internal. Everything manifested from the outside in is, listen to it, external. That means it is X. It is not operating. So when we're talking about dreams, we're talking about sleeping. When we're talking about vision, we're talking about being spiritually awake to your power, to all the things that you can operate in as a God being. You are not just human. You are not a person. Did you know person means a corporation? And then the world wants you to think you're a corporation, or they treat you like a corporation, but you are a living God being with multiple powers. And so as we look at having a vision, writing the vision. Now, the writing of the vision can be physical, but let's go a little deeper. Let's make it spiritual. Writing the vision is seeing a picture within your heart mind, lining it up with your head mind before any kind of words are ever placed on it. So when we talk about vision, we're putting a picture together. We're taking pieces and we're making a whole picture. And so when you write the vision and you make it plain, you create a picture. And when you create a picture, you create a vision. And so you're able to see something that is not in the physical yet, but is a blueprint of where you're going in the spirit, and then manifesting in the flesh. Everything that you create and everything that's outside of you. Now, if you create from the outside in, it's not going to last. So in order to have a staying power for your vision, it must be in an imagination. You must have an intention, and you must activate the vision of that inner eye. Now let's talk about, when we're talking about vision, let's talk about the physical vision. The physical vision will only relate to you an illusion, a temporary thing, a simulation. And so what has happened is we are so focused on something that's not real. And the only way that it becomes real to us is that we create it to be that way. And so most people have not grasped that. If you're going to see, you need to see from your inner eye. Some people call it third eye. I call it the first eye. Some people call it the inner eye. Whatever you call it, and just as long as you call it, you have to utilize that. And so we're walking in this dream. And the reason it is not being transferred or manifested is because we're sleepwalking. And when you're sleepwalking, you are not aware, awake, or conscious to what's going on. So now when we talk about, oh, I had a dream last night, we're saying we were asleep. When you have a vision, it's an out of body, and you recognize and you can recall the things that happen if you are awake. And so that is why we use meditation. That is why we activate our chakras, which are behind me, because those are energy points. All of us are energy. We are energy. Energy cannot be killed or destroyed. And so we need to see ourselves as an ongoing ball of energy that is moving and manifested in all of this universe. We are the universe. See, every time they cause us to look outside of ourselves, it's a simulation. It's not real. So if they can keep us on the outside and keep us dreaming and keep us asleep, then they can control us and they can condition us to a place that they want us to be. So what we must do is we must come in and begin to activate, be intentional about that power that is in us. There is so much in you that you have not even tapped into because you are so connected to the outside of you that it is not allowing you to be the greatest version of you. Now, you have to take responsibility for your own visions. Nobody outside of you is going to take your vision and see it like you see it. You can relay it to them. You can talk to them about it, but they will never be able to see it as you see it because it is your vision. That is why we talk about writing your story. History is good. His story is good. Her story is good. But there's nothing greater than your story. And nobody can tell or have a vision for your story but you. And so until you decide to take responsibility of the power that you have on the inside, to take responsibility, as much time as you spend on getting the outside great, you got to spend even more on the inside, because the one that you feed the most, that's the one that's going to be in control. You must take authority by meditation. And I keep saying meditation, but most people think that meditation is just for the Buddhists. Meditation is to quiet this, because here is confusion, fear, doubt, selfishness, the ego. All of that is going on with 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. There's a lot going on here. But when you go into the heart mind, when you meditate, you go into the heart mind. The heart mind is full of faith, truth. That is where the word of God comes from. That is where God speaks to you. That is where the spirit speaks to you, whatever you call it. Let's don't get caught up in names. Now, excuse me, let's do not get caught up in names. Let's get caught up in the power of what we're talking about. We are so conditioned to what everybody else is saying, and we're just continuously duplicating things that are really not what we are perceiving and conceiving inside of us. Now, when I first came on, I told you that you are the garden. You are the Garden of Eden. You are where the seeds are planted. You are where everything begins. So let's look at in the beginning when God created, and there was a garden. He was creating your mind so that it can be seeded. And he said, you can eat of every tree but one. He did not want you to be caught up in the separation of good and evil. He wanted you to be caught up in life. Life, living in full effect. That's what I said the acronym is for. And so until you're living in full effect, you're not going to have the vision. You're always going to have a dream. A dream will go nowhere, but a vision, you can write it within your spirit, line it up in your head, and run with it. Take it to its fullest potential. But we've got to wake up from the sleep. There's so much in our computers, and I'm talking about your brain, that we have to delete. And we have to reapply some good news. We have to reapply spiritual points. We have to have this relationship. We have to talk within ourselves. When we talk about encouraging yourself, we're talking about going in and getting some courage about what's going on in your life. You cannot wait for anyone outside of you. I'm not saying there are not people that can motivate you. I'm not saying there are not people that can speak into your life. But what I'm saying to you, your main focus, your main intention, your main consciousness is going in on the inside and seeing the blueprint that God has put in on the inside of you and begin to build your life on a foundation that you have created, that you have purpose for, that you have destiny for. We've got to cut out allowing everybody to speak outside of us. We take what they've spoken, that spell they've spoken, and then we take it on the inside, and it can only be created if you take it on the inside and begin to manifest it for yourself. Let's take responsibility and stop blaming everybody. Stop blaming your spouse. Stop blaming God. Stop blaming the devil. Just stop blaming. And when you begin to take responsibility for your own vision, that you can see it and you can run with it, and it will come to pass. When you begin to create an energy of intention of everything that it is you've been purposed to be here for, then you can allow yourself to go forth without anybody. Let's just say you running this thing by yourself. We came here by ourselves. We're going to leave here by ourselves. So sometimes you have to walk alone. But one thing I'm going to tell you, you're not really walking alone. You always have a partner on the inside that will never leave you or forsake you. And you don't have to prove yourself. Once you know your worth, you don't have to prove yourself. So we are so busy outside of ourselves trying to prove this, trying to get likes, trying to do this, trying to do that. We're always trying to attract something temporary for a permanent section that is within us, and it does not fit. That energy cannot fit. That temporary cannot fit in a permanent place where God only resides. Ooh, that's good in the neighborhood. Listen, when you begin to see out of your spiritual eye, which is here, your intuition. Intuition is knowing things that you wouldn't normally know on the outside. But on the inside, you're knowing it, and nobody taught it to you. It's been embedded into you. You have an assignment that you've been given. You're equipped for this journey. It is your time to create. It is your time to wake up. It is your time to take responsibility. These are tools where you can take full authority over your life and stop leaning. God never wanted us to lean on him. I know we sing that song, I'm leaning. No, God wanted you to stand. That's why he created you in his image. You're able to stand. When you've done everything else, you keep on standing. And it allows you to be the greatest version of you. There is none like you in all the earth. There is none like you. They can duplicate you. They can try to copy you, but there is none like you in all the earth. So allow yourself to be. Stop trying to be. Allow yourself to be that great God being that you were created to be. To have vision. that nobody else can see. You can only, I'm telling you, have you ever been talking or praying or meditating, and you hear a word from the source, from the spirit, and you know it had to be from the inside of you, because ain't nobody outside of you talking like that. And it was so deep and it was so profound that when you tried to put words to describe it, you're never able to tell it like you heard it. Now, the inspired word comes from the inside. Every time that you try to write down or communicate to somebody else, you know how you heard it. But if you try to communicate it to someone else, it doesn't come out like you heard it. So that means it is the inspired, in spirit word. Now, this is how we get all these different translations. Because when you hear something, it's not the same way someone else hears it. And so all the translations have been inspired on his story, her story, their story, whose ever story. And so the inspired word is never relayed like it's heard, because it's heard from a voice that doesn't speak from the mouth. And you hear it from an ear that's not attached in your five senses. Come on here. Look. When I'm talking about visions, and I'm talking about having a spiritual vision, then you're talking about hearing a voice that you can't hear with your physical ears. That's why we got to go to our sensor. Our sensors are our inner eye and our inner ear. But our five senses are always going to deceive you. I'm telling you now, we have got to get in the spirit and stay in the spirit, live in the spirit. Doesn't mean now you get so spiritual that you're no earthly good, but you solidify. Woo, this is good. You solidify that spiritual being in you, and it will cause the outside of you to be subjected to it. Ooh, I feel this on the inside. And then it will not allow you to be in trial by error, to make mistakes, because your steps have been ordered. Now, anytime something is ordered, it can be sequential or it can be in stone. So before you got into your mother's womb, God knew you. That means he was intimate with you. That means he gave you your orders. You chose your parents. We always say, well, we weren't able to choose our parents. I don't believe that. Now that's my theory. I believe you knew before you got in that womb that you were going to deal with all of this that you're dealing with. And God equipped you to deal with it. But what happened is, once you got in this world and they start conditioning you and they tried to make you forget that you forgot who you were, that's what turned this around. So repenting, I ain't gonna say it has nothing to do with sin, but I'm saying repenting means return back to your original state of being before you were in the matrix, before you were in the flesh. So our vision is spiritual. Come on here. Our vision is spiritual. Dreams are physical. So that means they're going to pass away. So they're giving you an American dream that's never going to come to pass. It's going to come to pass away, but it's never going to meet you in the space and the place of your life that you desire it to be. Now, come on, we got to stop all this want stuff. How does a creator talk about wanting something when they can create it? Come on here. Yes. How does a creator talk about wanting something that they can create and have power to create? See, we have lost who we are. It's good for you to know about where you came from. It's good about knowing all of this. But your trueness is your spirituality. Your vision is going to come from the inside and work on the outside. And this right here is going to allow you to make massive changes in your life. Woo-hoo. This word in today's Michelleology. Now, are you going to continue to dream? Or are you going to have a vision? Well, it's good in the neighborhood. I am so glad that you joined me. Listen, you must continue. Tell your friends about Staynlove TV. Tell your friends that there's something powerful going on Staynlove television. And when you are ready, when you get the vision, then you can contact Vanessa Klinger, who is the CEO, and she will be able to assist you in getting your own show. Just know that everything is a vision first. And once you go through the vision, your next step is the creativity of that which you see. Well, we have gone through another session in today's Michelleology. I'm so glad you joined me. On the bottom of the screen, you will see my information, my email, my Cash App. If you want to bless this broadcast to help us expand, to go further, you can do that. You can contact me by that email that's listed on the bottom of your screen. And you can visit some of my social medias. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. You can find me. I am on YouTube, but we have got to find, define, and inhale our own vision. Well, you've been created by the Creator to be creative. So start creating your creations and stop duplicating others. Remember, once you go in, you'll never be without. This is Michelle. I'm your motivator. I'm your spiritual evolutionist. Please join me again next week this time, and we're going to go deeper. We're going to go wider. We're going to go higher, and we're going to be everything. We're going to fulfill this purpose and be everything. We're going to operate in purpose and on purpose, and we're going to go further because this is the season. This is the season of harvest. The wheat and the tare have grown up together, the light and the darkness. Now it's harvest time. It's time to separate that. Well, I love you. I praise the God, my God, the Creator above, that you have been inspired today by this word in today's Michelleology. Well, may you be blessed, and I look forward to seeing you next week in this same time. Bless you.